Okay. Hi, friends. Welcome to Real Talks with Pinks. Today it's not a good day, but anyway, I'm really excited for this day that we have our guest. We're going to be talking about a topic very close to my heart, and this is what I do professionally. We're going to talk about days of activism against violence, and we have our guest today. As we know, maybe of you do not know, the theme for this year is called domestic violence is really let us stand against it. Usually, 16 days of activism runs from the 25th of November to the 10th of December every year. Really honored today that a guest, Meru Sandranzani, who is a survivor of domestic violence, and she's here to share her story today. I'm really honored that Meru-san, you honored our invitation to talk about this scourge that is plaguing our society. Can you please introduce yourself to our guests?
Okay, my name is Sangranzani. Ke ngwanana wa Mosotho e habo e leng Hathetsane Masego ke mpa fela heso haeso moholo ke motho wa Mokgethwane dibuping ha morena Mahlabathe Majara. I am a mom of 2 boys.
What a wow, that's a nice introduction in your language. Thank you so much. Like I have already said, the topic for today, obviously it's not nice, but the bigger goal of us sharing this topic with Meru Risang is that she shares her story to many other people who are still in abusive relationships. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna ask you the first question, Meru Risang. As most of us, especially young professionals, young people, young mothers, when we enter into relationships, looking for love and we are willing to share our lives with other people. But sadly, many of us enter into relationships and later on they turn sour. So my first question to you is, did you see any signs entering into this relationship that it might turn violent, or what was happening? Just run us through what happened at the start.
In the beginning, I had a very good relationship with this person, and there were absolutely no signs of abuse. But then, looking into how it happened, when it was happening in the beginning, I was like, ah man, okay, maybe he doesn't want to be abusive or anything. But then, yes, there were some signs. When someone is angry, will be like, I really would not want to lose it. Or anything. So he would always say, once you pop, it won't stop. So I wouldn't even want to try. So it should have taught me then, Mutuna knows exactly when he pops, papa but I just thought, okay, Mutuna doesn't want to do a thing on me or anything. So yeah, I can say there were some signs, but I couldn't identify them.
Okay, so they were a little bit, but they were not clear cut. So I'd like to ask, so this when it actually happened, did it start as maybe physically, emotionally, or a feast? What really happened? Like the first thing, because statistically, in Lesotho, they say about 86% of women have experienced abuse. And then they say about 61% of those women, the abuse that they experience is intimate partner violence. So apparently, there are things that happen, such as like beating or emotional, even before the bigger thing that happens. For you, what was it like?
For me, when it started as an emotional abuse. It starts off this person you should never try and talk. When he talks, he will be shouting at you, don't talk. And you are a woman and women are not supposed to talk. I think the most dangerous part was that this person would go to the Bible say, you know, and take you straight to the chapters of the Bible that says women should not talk, women should do this. So it first starts really emotionally. It's intentional. This person wants to see you grow, probably because I was already from a failed marriage. So I was so much willing to make the relationship work. And then when I was so much willing to make the relationship work, anything that was coming to try and correct my past mistakes, I was willing to implement. And not realizing that Horisang is dying and someone else is rising up. So it was basically the issue of wanting to correct your past mistakes with the current relationship and not realizing some of the things that are actually making you naked of yourself and being someone else.
Oh, wow. You are saying a very powerful thing, that because you were from a failed marriage, you wanted this one to work so much that you were willing to just let go of all those signs that you saw that this is a red sign, but because I'm in this for the second time, I just want to make it work. However, I want to get to this part where there's this notion, people have this wrong idea that abuse only happens to a certain class of people or to people who stay in either rural areas or maybe in town, we don't experience it. There's that notion that it has a status. But according to me, I would say abuse does not have status. As someone that's educated and it's someone that has a job, and usually people think when you have a job and have your own money, you should be empowered. But now with abuse, it does not matter whether you are rich or poor, stay in the rural or the urban areas. What would you say to that notion that people assume abuse does not happen to people like me or you?
What I can say, Pinks, is that if someone is abusive, is abusive, and abuse knows no standard. Abuse knows no education. Abuse, if it's targeted on you with the abuser, it will definitely be on you regardless of the degrees that you have. Because I remember there was a time I was seated alone during the period of abuse, because like I said, it doesn't start, it starts emotionally, and then it began, and then after that, this person will bring you flowers and say, you know what, I'm really sorry. But then there was a time I was seated there, and I was like, ah man, but man, you have an undergraduate degree, you have a master's degree, but you are seated in this relationship and you are crying every day. What is wrong with you? So I can attest to that. It doesn't matter whether you have a car, your life seems to be moving very well, or anything. You can be abused by a Form 5 student, by a Form C student, or a Form C, someone completely Form C. So it really doesn't know a standard.
Yeah, so it doesn't have any status or any class. It does not matter. Anyone, a CEO can abuse you if they're abusive, anyone really. So I want to say, so run us through this abuse. So for you, when it was happening, yes, it started small emotionally. People say your partner at the time saying swear words to you, all those things that made you lose your self-confidence. And then it escalated to physically. The first feast, and you're thinking, oh, the next day he brings you flowers. Oh, I'm sorry, baby, this and this. But now for you, what was the time when you decided to leave? Was it at the second feast, the third one? What happened for you to decide you want to leave the relationship?
For me, let me just take you hanging on now what really happened. I mean, like I said, it starts and becoming someone else that this person has a desire to see. And it started off as emotional, like it started, but then there was this one day when I was pregnant, and I was 8 months pregnant, and then the feast came, all the emotional, but then the first pop was when there was a fist in that hit right on the face, and I had blood all over. Remember, I said I'm 8 months pregnant, and it was really bad. There was blood all over in the car, and but then I never told anyone, you know. I felt it was embarrassing. I felt no, maybe I should have wronged this person or anything. So I kept quiet, and the following day morning he takes the car, we saw car wash, and it gets washed or anything. And when people were asking me what happened, because I had a red eye and I was like putting on my shades, and when people were asking, I think I was fortunate enough because when people were asking me, I wasn't saying anything that is the opposite or anything. I was honest with it, but I didn't go out then. And then it went on. The last day I said no, I think this is enough, was when I was praying, and I was in my office, and then this guy comes in and starts all the conversations, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not in the mood of fighting. And after that, but you know what, Pinks, I still didn't go out.
Are you still
after it happened. I'm still in it. I'm trying to hide it. But I was obviously not even thinking straight, because that's one of the things that I realized, that abuse will make you to lose. After it takes away your mind, then you can't think properly, because I'm seated. I was like, oh, somebody, how did it happen that you went on like that? But I remember the last time when it was a week later after Kitulanya Limabota and everything. You sit down and this person apologizes, you know what, but you want me to do these things on you, and I really don't like it. You know what, we'll be going out for meals, you have scratches all over, your eyes are red, but when people look at you, you're like, ah, man, this person loves me, so what's wrong with these people?
Well, let's pick up on that. Are you saying he hit you while you were 8 months pregnant and you had a red eye and a blue eye, and then it happened, you stayed, and then it happened again? But now he's trying to make you feel like it's your fault. And you start thinking, maybe I did something wrong. And you are deciding, let me stay. This person loves me. He's apologizing. You still stayed in that relationship even after that.
I stayed.
I know this is shocking. I think where I want you to go deeper for those people who are thinking this is not a big deal. Oh no, I'm still staying. And also maybe get to the part where, I want you to get to the part where you eventually said, I'm tired.
Yes. So this one day, I come home. I was no longer even going out with friends or anything. I was just like a stay-at-home person.
Okay.
And so this one day, one friend of mine from my previous job, they call me, say, "Oh, listen, you know what? We miss you. We've not seen you like in ages. So can we go out for dinner or anything?" And I was like, "Okay, fine, cool." And then I called. So part of what had happened, I was no longer driving my car. He was the one that's driving my car. I couldn't call him wherever he was going. I couldn't. I mean, when I call him, he'll be like, "I told you never to call me." And I will tell you towards the end what really did to my life and the impact and how I struggled to come out of the cocoon that I was in. But then I went out for dinner. In fact, I call him. I say, you know what? I need to go out with. I'm not even. You know, I need to go out. I was wondering if you would mind. You know, I think I will need to use my car. I think I will need.
I want to pick up on three things. As you gather your thoughts while you're continuing, I've already noted three things that you said. The first one, he blamed you The second one is that he had isolated you. You were no longer going out, because that's what abusers do. He isolates you so that you don't get to tell your friends. And the third thing, you're thinking, there's no one that I will tell because I'm embarrassed, I'm feeling this shame, because that's what abusers like. We like saying in a line of work, you must break the silence, which is what we are doing today. To say, let's talk about this thing, because when you don't talk about it, that's where you go.
Yes. So I wasn't honestly talking about it, and so I'm asking politely. I was no longer using that car, and I mean everybody else knew that I no longer had a car. He had a car, so it's another topic for another day. So, and I was asking him, and can I please go out for dinner? Says I'm in a meeting. Oh, I didn't even know where he was. I'm in a meeting. Oh, yeah. All right, cool. No, maybe when you are finished with the meeting, then maybe you can accompany me to go out for dinner, not to have a car. No. Maybe can you accompany me? And he would be like, no, I will see. And then it's 7 o'clock when I try to call him. I think dinner was around, we were meeting about around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I call him. No, I was saying, no, I'm busy. I'll call you back. And he never called me back. And the lady that had asked me to go out for dinner. And I think one thing that God will raise you people, will raise people in your life that will help you, but you will not see. You will only see when everything is over. So this lady comes and then we go out. We had such a good time together. And then after that, they were like, no, listen, you never even go out. I was like, what's wrong with these people? I really need to go home. No, I can't arrive late, you know. And then they're like, no, you know what? We are going out. Today it's your day out. Okay. So maybe I think, looking back, I think these guys were aware that no, something is not right with this person. We would wish for her to talk. We won't intrude, but we would wish for her to talk. But I never talked. And we went out. It was late at night, around 12, 1. This person still hasn't called. And then I think around Boma 12, 1-ish, I'm like, guys, no, I need to go home. They're like, okay, I try to call him. He doesn't pick up the call. And then they accompany me, I go home. And when I get to the gate, I call him. I'm at the gate and he drops the call. I'm at the gate, drops the call. I go through there was this Lisubanyana where the dogs get through. And then I just get in. I'm like, maybe he's asleep. Remember, he's dropping the call, but I'm saying maybe he's asleep. Maybe he doesn't want me to disturb him. This is the person that should have called me to ask me where I was or anything. Nothing was happening. And then I get in the house. There's children. There's the smaller baby that is sleeping. And then when I get in the house, he's at the door, and he says, "Go back to where you come from." And I was like, ha. Now it feels like we are getting into it. I was like, no, I'm from dinner. I told you that I'm going out for dinner. And he's like, you are gonna go back to where you come from. And I said, very unfortunately, the restaurant has closed, so I can't go back to where I come from. And that's where abuse gets more interesting. So I'm like, I can't go back. And he says, go back to those men that you are from. I was like, oh, okay. So every time you are from other things. Well, I'm thinking I can't say that to him, because I'm polite. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, you know what? The last time I checked, when we met with you, I still had a home, and no one had dismissed me from that. So one thing that I'm going to ask from you is that you give me my car keys. Yes. I will leave, I will go home. And then he says, no, you are not going to get the car. And I was like, that is my car. I will need my car. Long story short, Pinks, he was closer to me. I don't know where he got the stick from, but then no. In fact, I got in, and because I didn't want to. Yes, I remember I got inside the house before he was saying all these things, and I put off my clothes. I was using the sitting room because I didn't want to disturb him in the bedroom, because this person doesn't want to be disturbed. And I put off the clothes and I put on a towel. And after putting on a towel, he comes and asks me those questions that I talked about, and saying I should go back to where I come from. And I was like, I need the car keys, so let me try and put the clothes on. Before I could put the clothes on, this guy had a stick. It's this that is like this.
Yes.
And it has some iron at the end. Because and then he comes with this stake, and he hit me on one spot. I mean, it was this left thigh. And then this guy hit me, and he hit me, and he hit me like there was no tomorrow. I was like, no, please, you can't be doing this. Allow me to go home. You can't be hitting me like this. You cry until you cannot cry anymore. And I think that's a turning point in your life, because you decide whether I'm going to stay like this or I am going to be someone else. And then that moment I stopped crying, and I was like, no, I think I am dying. And he continued. I said, you are killing me. The children are listening. You can't be doing this. If you have a problem, And he continued, not caring who is listening whatsoever. So I think one of the things that caused him to be angry was that I got through the door. He had thought he had locked the door. So until the door was not locked. So his intention was to stay outside for the whole night. And then I ended up coming in the house, and then he hit me. After he hit me, I remember very well that I developed some strength that I don't know where it came from. And I held onto the stick. Think you must know that I am not a fighting type. I've never fought. The last time I fought, I think I was in high school. So there I am. I'm facing the situation whereby I have to make a decision to either fight this person back or die. And I had to fight back. At that point in time, he took my phone. I couldn't call anyone, and he was there. I enjoy that part. And this is the person that I remember. He had a friend. This friend was already abusive as well, and this friend was used to give him tips, and he'd be like, how what amusadi and he applied exactly the same thing. And more embarrassed to even put off my clothes, try and show someone. Remember, I'm just wearing a towel. And obviously the towel is no longer on me. I'm naked like that. So it happened like that. He hit me until that time that I developed some strength, and I tried to fight back, and it's like, now you're fighting. I'm like, I am left with no choice, brother. There's something I have to do. If there's something I have to do, is to save my life. I have children, and I have to make sure that I'm safe. And I held on to the stake, and then I will go deeper because I want to save somebody's life. And then he was also not wearing a thing, and I held on to what I thought this one. And then after that, he stopped. And then after he stopped, he took me to the bedroom, and he continued with something else and says, you are from other men, let me Okay, let me just indulge. I mean, and just feel what the other guy that you are from was feeling. And he did whatever. I was crying, I was helpless, I was hating life, and I just didn't like anything that had to do with life. But what held on was the fact that I have children, and something I really have to fight for my life, and it happened like that.
This is someone that just beat you, but he also wants to be intimate with you.
Yes. And it was a horror a horror night. It was a horror night for me. And I promise you, Pins, I still did not make a decision. Corey, I want to do, I still did not make a decision then to leave this guy. No, I didn't. I promise you.
Still not the day that you left?
That the time, that was still not the time that I made a decision. I wanted to go out, but I now was living in fear, because this person told me that if you can leave me, I am going to kill you. You know, it went to that point. So there is that level of fear whereby you don't know, after leaving this person, what is it that is going to happen with you. And I still did not make a decision. But the one good thing that I did in the morning was I called a friend of mine. I'm not sure if I should mention her name, because he saved my life. Yes. So this friend of mine, I call her, and I'm like, I mean, okay, this guy in the morning, he goes for a funeral, as if nothing happened. He goes for a funeral, and I'm left there at home. I can't walk, I can't get out of bed. And crawling to the toilet, I call this friend of mine. I'm telling her that I'm shattered. I just don't know what to do. This is what happened yesterday. And that really helped me, because she dropped everything and she came over at the house. And when she arrived, I thought she was going to console me, tell me that it's going to be okay or anything. And when she arrived, she's a bit of a sanguine, being a sanguine that she is, she comes in and says, you know what, I am here to collect you and the children. The clothes and everything, they will follow us. And then I was like, no, and says, no, I'm not going to listen to anything. Calling my son, you know what, hey, collect your toys, collect everything. She collects everything, we collect everything, and then we get in the car. She didn't give me a chance to even try and explain anything, and then we went home. When we got home, that's when she asked what happened, and I was telling her. And after I got home, that's when and then she said, after this, we are going to be reporting this to the police. And then she started calling other friends, and I was like, this girl. And she started calling other friends. I had never even thought about going to the police to report this to the police. I could never report this guy, because he had always been reporting telling me that he would kill me. And then we go to the police station, and then they say, oh, I need a medical certificate. When I go to Tepong, and wow, I just discovered that I have a broken hand.
You have a broken hand?
So, I have a broken hand because I was taken for x-ray. So my left hand was broken. And that's just how it happened. And going back to the police, she was the one, I think at that particular point in time, I had friends around who were already trying to help me, because I couldn't think. I couldn't even think strategically, nothing. And I had friends that really helped me out of that, because for me, I did not make that decision. I knew I wanted out, but I did not know when.
So you went to the hospital, and then you found out that you have a broken hand.
Yes.
So was this when you decided you are no longer going back? Because like you're saying, you couldn't think clearly, but this friend saved your life and called your other friends. Actually, they helped you make that decision.
Yes, they did help me make that decision. And after that, I still had that thing that, you know what, he can do anything, this person. But they worked with me through the journey. Of course, it was not easy at some point. Yes, friends will help you, but there's those things that eventually you are the one that have to make a decision. And I made a decision already since and my friends are people that respect people's decisions. And at a point where they were sure that I'm home, I'm safe, they left me to make a decision. And I made a decision that I'm not gonna go back, because this person still came back and said, you know what, I need you, I still want us to be together. But I made a decision that no, we can't be together. Any loss that I've suffered, anything that you have that is mine, then keep it or just burn it or anything. And ever since that day, my life had changed.
I'm so glad for these friends of yours. I remember getting a call, actually. I remember getting a call, report to the hospital now.
Yeah.
So that day, I will not forget. I reported to the hospital and I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw your face, when I saw your body, all those bruises. I could not believe. Also because you're light-skinned, you know what it does to you. It was we couldn't even recognize you. So,
Yeah.
without making this video long, because it's quite important, what do you say to the idea of many women who stay in relationships and say, oh, because of my child, I don't want to be a single parent, he's my father's babies, or this, that. What does that do to children if we are staying on behalf of kids?
What I can tell you and the viewers thinks is that some decisions, we have to do them for our kids. Sometimes separation is good for the kids. And it would be your children, they can become delinquent or anything because of having an unstable family relationship. So you have to make a decision. When you are saying you are making a decision for the kids, make sure that it's a positive decision. Make sure that your child, your boy child, is not going to grow up understanding that abuse is okay. Because the boy child is going to grow up to be like the father. The girl child is going to grow up to be like the mother, until that day that you make a decision that I am going to vomit what I saw in my mom and become myself. But I promise you, a higher percentage of girls that we see today, they are a version of their moms. If your mom was in an abusive relationship, you will definitely get in an abusive relationship if you don't wake up and say, I am going to be Horisang and I'm not going to be my mom. And with boys as well. So if you stay in an abusive relationship, your boy is going to be an abuser. Until that day, he will say, I don't want to be like my father.
Yeah, because usually they say kids do not listen to what you say. They actually copy and mimic what you do. They watch your behaviors and do what you do.
Exactly. That is very true.
Your story is a story of hope. And as we talk today, I can tell that you have gone through your healing process. I'm sure at other times when you are listening to similar stories like yours, you are reminded that you could have died, actually. Because I'm thinking about the time when you were 8 months pregnant, you could have died. And I'm thinking about this time again when you had to go to the hospital with a broken hand, you could have died. So I'm just saying, what would you say to other women out there, or many other men, because there are men being abused? So what would you say to people who are in abusive relationships?
I remember the story of a lost son in the Bible paints. This ngwana wa lehlaswa, okay, I will rise up. I will go back to my father and I will go to say to my father, please forgive me. What I can say today is rise up, young child, rise up, woman, and rise up, men. Just go back to the original version and of yourself and ask for forgiveness to yourself, because if you can't forgive you, I promise you, you will stay where you are. But forgive yourself for the past mistakes. The greatest mistake that I did was I never forgave myself from the previous marriage that I had. And I am now in this relationship that is not even marriage. I will repeat, that was not even marriage. But because I wanted so much to try and correct my past mistakes, or to try and correct doing things wrong in church. So I really wanted something that could work. But then there I am, not forgiving myself and going into another relationship. It's abusive, but I have not forgiven myself. So I just decided to rise up and say, Horisang, you are forgiven. Horisang, you are what God has planned for you to be. God wants you to be prosperous. God wants you to be someone else. And that is a turning point. So anyone that is in an abusive relationship, I'm not an advocate of divorce or anything, but abuse will so just forgive yourself and remember that you are called on earth for a purpose, because the greatest mistake that you can ever do is to die having not met your purpose.
When you said Laupata, it's sort of like a saying, but actually it's real. During lockdown, we had about 7 women that were killed by their partners. Just about 2 weeks ago, there's another lady that I know that was killed by her partner. So this is to say to all people that are still in abusive relationships, domestic violence is real. Let's stand against it. Let's break the silence. Let's stop making this a taboo. Horisang is an example that you can walk out of an abusive relationship and claim your power. And look at her journey today. She's a survivor working for her kids. Let's stop staying for the kids, because we are disturbing those children and they will grow up to be abusers, or they will grow up thinking abuse is okay, which is not. So, Horisang, thank you so much for sharing your story. I would have liked to share more, but I'm sure we'll have episode 2 with another person that may be inspired by this video to also come forward and break the silence, because the idea is that in this 3 weeks between the 25th and the 10th, to have stories of people who say, I was in an abusive relationship, but I claimed my power. Now I have walked out. Thank you so much for coming, Rory. Ganete, thank you. I hope this inspires, even if it's just one lady, and saves their lives, because we don't want any more women dying because of their intimate partners. Thank you. So I'm going to end this here. Thank you so much. Thank you to our viewers. See you the next time.
All right, thanks. Thank you so much. It's an honor as well.